Right here, I have the new DJI Osmo Pocket 4P. And I'm also currently in Mexico. How did this tiny camera on a tiny gimbal with a tiny screen get so popular? And why would so many people and creators choose this over a flagship phone? After using it for a bit, it's way more than just tracking you around, though that is pretty cool. Earlier this year, DJI updated the Osmo Pocket line with the release of the new Osmo Pocket 4. But now, they just also put out the Pocket 4P. And the 4P doesn't just give you an extra telephoto camera. The biggest claim is the 17 stops of dynamic range with the new D-Log 2 color profile. That's more than this camera that costs twice as much. So let's see how big of a difference it makes. I got early hands-on with the 4P thanks to DJI who sponsored this video. So join me in Mexico as I test out everything about the 4P and also how the 4 compares to it. One of the most fun features on these Osmo Pocket cameras is Active Track. You can just set it down and it follows you around. Right now I have it set to follow me so I can run over here. All right, it's still onto me. Wow, this is like having your own personal cameraman with you at all times. This is so nice for vlogging. The Active Track feature is also really handy for when you're filming yourself while holding the camera. You can track it onto your face, and then it doesn't matter where or how you hold the camera, it will always be pointed towards you. The Pocket 4 has Active Track 7, which allows for spotlight follow. This follows registered subjects or the subject closest to the center, and it works really well. You can see it being locked onto me, and it even knows to ignore the people walking behind me. But the Pocket 4P is supposed to be even better with the new Active Track 8. Not only can you do spotlight follow, you can also do multi-person tracking. The Active Track works on the telephoto lens as well. Here's me testing it. Even when I stood up here, it was still tracking. You can also get some cool tracking shots of things that are not people. I'm going to turn on the dynamic framing, and now it will follow my hand, which I've set to be the subject, which means that wherever I move my hand, the gimbal will automatically follow it. This is so cool. But of course, the gimbal is not just there to keep the camera pointed at you. The primary purpose is stabilization. Unlike a phone where the sensor can only move a tiny bit inside the housing, this entire camera head has a huge range of motion, so it can handle a lot more shake. Let's go for a run with a 4P in my hand versus just holding my phone. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference. A big part of it is that the gimbal can always keep the horizon level. You can see me shaking it left and right pretty aggressively, but the footage is always straight. And unlike some phones that achieve this through software, the gimbal preserves the full quality. Not gonna lie, I'm out. It's so hot. The gimbal also allows you to do some creative shots. And this is the spin shot. This is so funny. And out of all the cameras I've ever owned, these tiny little Osmo Pocket cameras are actually the most capable for slow motion. I cannot believe both the Pocket 4 and 4P support 4K 240 frames per second. The only limitation is you can't use lock color profiles in this mode. Also, on the Pocket 4P, even the telephoto camera can do 4K 200 frames per second. And speaking of the telephoto camera, this is one of the key differences between the Pocket 4 and the 4P. With the regular Pocket 4, you only have the main camera. You can still zoom digitally, but it is only up to 4 times. The additional telephoto camera on the 4P is 60mm, which is 3 times zoom. And it's optical and lossless. You can zoom up to 12 times digitally. I wouldn't have gotten this super epic sunset shot without it. I can see a little bit of the sunset. Look. Having a dedicated telephoto camera is so handy. Like, I can zoom all the way into those chairs on the beach. And for reference, this is how far away I am. Now you can get really great quality at 3x zoom, but you can also zoom in all the way up to 12x. That's the ocean right there, and I'm going to zoom in on it 3 times. Whoa, look at that gradient color. Right now I'm zoomed in 3 times, but I'm going to zoom in even more. I can see the cars on the road over there, but also those boats back there. The telephoto camera also looks great for portraits. It definitely gives a different look from the 1x camera. It has that longer lens look. It feels more cinematic, and you can see the background here is smoothly blurred out, which looks really good. It gets this level of blur because even though the telephoto camera uses a slightly smaller sensor, it has a slightly faster f1.8 lens. And for the people who are into cameras, this is roughly like f6.2 on a full frame camera at 60mm. So it's definitely enough to get some background separation. You've already been looking at footage shot on these 2 cameras. Don't they look really nice? A lot of these clips were shot in their log profiles, and I color graded them in DaVinci Resolve myself. This is actually one of the biggest upgrades coming from the older Osmo Pocket cameras. Now you get true log profiles. You get D-Log on the Pocket 4 and the new D-Log 2 on the 4P's main camera, but the telephoto camera on the 4P still only gets the regular D-Log. Either log helps you get a lot more dynamic range out of the footage, and with a bit of color grading can look much better than default. When you shoot in log, the footage by default is less sharpened and processed looking, so you can control exactly how you want it to look. For example, I can go for a more orange and dramatic look like this in post. And the new D-Log 2 does preserve a lot more dynamic range. You can see here in the regular D-Log on the Pocket 4, the sun and the clouds are clipped, but it's preserved on the 4P with D-Log 2. Now, if you don't really want to do any post-production, the standard profile still looks pretty good. I would probably turn down the built-in sharpening though. And part of the reason why the footage looks so good is because both the 4P and the 4 cameras are using high-resolution sensors. They're around 37 megapixels. Of course, for video, that gets downsampled into 4K footage, which helps it look a bit more detailed than a regular 4K camera. And you can actually use all of that resolution in photo mode. So here are some high-res photos. They do look more detailed than the video. It's not the main reason I would buy a pocket camera, but it is nice that the photo mode is actually useful. The best part about these cameras is not necessarily just the footage. It's how seamless everything feels when you use it to capture content. All the accessories and the ecosystem come together in a way that feels very easy. Like this DJI Mic 3 that comes with a creator combo. It's super tiny and can record 32-bit float. That means the mic will never clip from the wrong gain settings. It also automatically pairs with a camera, and it comes with this magnetic clip so you can quickly attach it to your shirt. And this feet setup gives you a better grip, so you can set it down anywhere and do the tracking thing. Overall, it's a very seamless experience. I was also really interested in the wide-angle adapter. 20mm looks great for vlogging, but your arm kind of has to be pretty outstretched if you don't want your face to take up most of the frame. With this adapter though, you now get a 16mm field of view. The number change might sound small, but it's actually pretty meaningful. It looks a lot wider. It does have a little bit of barrel distortion on the edges, but I think that's a small trade-off to get an adjustable focal length in such a tiny package. The wide-angle adapter works a little bit differently on the 4 and the 4P. On the 4, it's a magnetic attachment, which is convenient, but you have to take it off when you turn off the camera, since the camera tries to protect its lens by turning off in this position. But on the 4P, the adapter is actually a lens protector as well, and you can turn off the camera while leaving the adapter on there. And lastly, if you're filming at night or somewhere dark, the creator combo also comes with this little light that you can snap on. Whoa, I love having this light. It makes vlogging at night or in dark places so much better. My face is all lit up. And speaking of night shoots, the low light mode does help. In this mode, you can only go up to 30 FPS, but it's doing some advanced denoising. How do you think it looks? Let me know down below. So these are the two new DJI Osmo Pockets. The regular Pocket 4 already does the core Pocket thing really well. It's small, stable, easy to film with, and the footage looks great. But the 4P brings it to the next level. The telephoto camera gives you a different look. The D-Log 2 profile gives you the cinematic look and more creative color grade options. And the 17 stops of dynamic range gives this tiny camera a lot more flexibility than you would expect. So even though this is still a pocket camera, the 4P feels like it's pushing more into tiny cinema camera territory. That's it for this video. It's also now 3 a.m., so I'm going to go to sleep now, but make sure you check these out at the link below, and thanks for watching. Bye!